Hi, I'm Becca Otis from Five Lines Pottery in Monroe, Washington.
And I'm Ryan Durbin from RD Ceramics, located in Southgate, Kentucky.
And welcome to Wheel Talk.
Hey guys, we've loved answering all of your questions so far. If you'd like to hear your question on the podcast, please send them to us on Instagram at wheeltalkpodcast or by email to wheeltalkpodcast@gmail.com. Thanks. Started.
We clicked at the same time.
We did.
Nah.
We're so in sync.
We're live.
We are live.
Ryan.
Becca.
I love
You
how
look so serious when I saw you today.
I know. I love how the mood can change pretty much immediately when we say we're live. How are you today, Ryan?
I'm doing good. I had a big sale this weekend on
Queen
Saturday?
City, right?
Sunday. Yeah. Oh, I was talking about the mystery box sale, but yeah, I had a Queen City clay sale as well. That was a holiday bazaar. I think this was the 5th year that I've done it. That was 2016. That was like one of my first 3 shows that I ever did.
Yeah.
So I've done it every year since then, and I got pretty good sales. I think it was close to about $1,000 that I sold.
Nice.
It was a 1-day indoor, single table. You pay $25 for the table, and then they take 20% of the sales.
Oh yeah, and that's the single checkout, right?
Yeah, they have one central cashier.
That's so nice.
You're kind of paying for the central cashier as well as the.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Central cashiers
but also
are the best.
you're like volunteering.
Yeah.
For like an hour, so it's. But I mean, I think the cost is also paying for the staff that's there.
Yeah.
They have a bunch of on-staff people that are working while you're there. So, because I talked to somebody that messaged me and was like, "Really? They take a cut? That's weird. That you would do a sale that they would take a cut."
P.S. to anybody who thinks that's weird, it's not weird. It's not weird at all. It's normal.
I mean, there's like no other shows that I do that are like that. But there's no other shows I've done with a central point of sale either. So.
Yeah, if you have a central point of sale, you can pretty much guarantee that they're going to charge you at least 20 to 25%, maybe even 30.
Yeah.
They're providing the space, they're providing the marketing, they're providing pretty much everything, the staffing. You still have to, usually you have to volunteer, but oh my gosh, they do so much more than you think, and the 20%. Usually those shows you make a ton of money because so many different people are coming for so many other people. So
yeah.
So
and it was
so
all
much
clay. There was about 40 clay artists.
Nice.
It's really a big student show.
Yeah.
I think it's grown a little bit more outside of that, where it's not just students of Queen City Clay that are selling, because you get a booth that's basically like a rental space that somebody has with shelving and a wheel and like a work table. So you basically take over that 6-foot section of table, and then you can have their shelving behind it. So
yeah,
it's a big student sale that they can just pay $25 for the table.
It's a great deal.
Then they don't have to leave the studio if they already have all their stuff in the studio. So it's pretty easy to set up and tear down, and it's all indoor. So you get to set up the day before. So it's pretty simple.
Yeah. For those who don't know, I do a show that's 20%, $25 a booth all summer long, usually in Leavenworth. So.
Yeah, and they have this same kind of deal with the central point of sale.
Yep, central point of sale, and it's a lifesaver. So.
Yeah, it's nice not having to worry about that. So that was Saturday, and then Sunday I did a mystery box sale, which was for $50 mystery boxes with 2 mugs and an ornament, and then $75 boxes with an ornament and an assorted number of bottles, tumbler, mug, bowl, other stuff like that. So I haven't sold out, which is fine. They've been trickling in, but they'll come in. I probably shipped out 10 or so today. You should do a
coupon code for Black Friday.
It was pretty good.
If you have any left.
Yeah, maybe that's what I'll do. Maybe I'll just discount the whole shop without a code needed or something on Black Friday.
No, do a coupon code. I mean, I guess, but
I would rather just give a discount. I hate the whole hey, if you get it from me, here's your code and you can. I'd rather just discount the whole shop.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm still shipping those out before going to Louisville tomorrow for Thanksgiving. So.
Nice. To see your
about you?
Your COVID-ridden father. Oh, P.S. I'm going to tell you this on the air because, That's what we do. Send a mystery box to your mom for the Bisque stuff, and I put your stickers in there, so make sure that you...
Ooh, okay. Do you know if they're going to get there this week?
Probably not. They are sitting in the back ready to be picked up, and we'll see if UPS follows through or not. They haven't been the best, but there was like 30 boxes, so we didn't want to take them. So.
Okay. Yeah, we'll see. FYI, update on my father. He is good now. I mean, he's still got the no taste or light, no taste, no smell kind of thing. And I don't even know if we mentioned last episode. I didn't get my results in, but myself and Rachel were tested negative, so we were good.
Yeah.
And then we tested again, actually, and I think we both came back negative again before we go home. So. Well, I know Rachel's came through today. I think mine's still coming in today. So.
Yeah. Good.
So, all good over here. What about you? I know you were packing a bunch of boxes you were in. Are you deep in liquidation mode now?
Oh, my God.
I saw y'all packing stuff this weekend. It was crazy. Y'all were throwing shit around everywhere.
Well, okay, so I packed probably like 12 boxes before Andrew got there, and then Andrew and his boyfriend packed like 30 plus.
Were these all the mystery bisque boxes?
Yeah, and then I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 in my queue right now that I still have to pack. That just came in the last 3 days.
So all of those are just ones you have to ship, or some of them pickups too?
No, most of them are shipments. And
that's good.
Oh, there's some pickups, thank God. And
so you got like 50 total from now that still need to be done to what you started getting? It's pretty good.
I have made... I'll tell you what I've made. In the last week till today, like last Sunday to today, I've made I've made $4,242. I don't know where it is. It's not in my bank account, but that's how much I made.
It's in the ether somewhere. You don't know.
I made a bunch, and then I had to pay out $500 for electrical because they hadn't been charging me for the past 3 months.
Okay.
But so that's been good. It's been so stressful, but I'm hoping to just get everything out. And
that's great.
I think
does the cash flow help incentivize you to get stuff out because you're like, okay, now it's paying off?
Yeah, a little bit, but I'm trying to get it's like so much stuff is happening, so I don't want to take up a bunch of time, but I think I've got the kiln sold, I've got the wheels sold. I don't have the huge oval kiln, but I actually might take that to Indiana, and the reason being is that Dusty,
that thing is humongous.
I know. I fucking know. I don't want to take it, but if I can't sell it, I will take it. One of the guys in Indiana that works for Rebecca asked me if I wanted to go in on a studio space, so I might do that with him and just bring the kiln. And if I can sell it, then I'll just buy a new kiln. But, so that's good.
You got a good deal on that kiln, so is that part of the reason why you're transporting it, or because you and Dusty both make a lot of stuff?
Well, we both make a lot of stuff. Like, he's a production potter, too, and then there would be one other person, potentially. So we could fill it up easily.
But that would be the only kiln that you all use?
Yeah, exactly. So I think that even if we did that, I'd still see if he wanted to maybe split a smaller kiln, but I'm not sure there's enough electrical. Anyway, so that's good. I got an apartment.
You did? I
found an apartment in Indiana, in Rebecca's space, in her apartment complex. So
it's pretty sweet. Those are like, are they considered lofts or studios or what?
Oh, you broke out.
It's not a loft.
You went away.
Are those considered lofts or studios or what?
Yeah, I think they're considered lofts, and yeah, it's like
a studio. I guess it has rooms.
No, so. It's like an old brick
and stuff.
Yeah, it's like an old brick furniture warehouse, and it's beautiful. And it's a little bit more than I wanted to pay, but it'll be fine. And I can take Lloyd with me.
Yes, that's nice.
Floyd found a new home this week, so.
Tidbit already found a new home recently, right?
Tidbit found a new home, and she's living her best life outside, adventuring in the mountains. And Floyd found a new home with his family that was so sweet, and they're gonna love him. For everybody judging me right now, jerks. Floyd and Lloyd had been fighting a lot, Lloyd's very dominant, so keeping them together, especially taking them into a small space, would have been a very bad mistake. So that's why that happened. Lloyd will be much better off alone, and Floyd will, I'm sure, appreciate not having Lloyd around. So, yes. And then I found out today that I have to pay $3,000 to fix my car, and that'll be the end of it. That's the end of how my day's going.
Because she's got to get across the country, so.
Yeah, like my transmission went all kaplooey after I got a flat tire, and then it just, I don't know. Thankfully, I have a good mechanic, but wow. I know, thankfully my mechanic's kind of like a dad figure in a way. Like, he's like, I got you, Becca. Like, thanks, Warren.
I mean, that's pretty good when you don't have to worry about, like, is this guy screwing me over?
I know, I'm lucky. He could still be screwing me over, but I don't care. I love him.
Screwing you over a little bit less than somebody else that you don't know.
Yeah, screwing me over less than the Subaru dealership. God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So, do we want to go to the review first? Do you have that ready?
Yes. Or just a piece of ice. Hold on.
So professional. You got this buttoned up.
Yay! Okay, okay. This is from Mudhead's Pottery.
Mudheads is the one that we talked about last week. I think that had that longer question.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So she gets a second.
She gets a double feature.
Yeah.
I really like this podcast. As a potter, I need this in my life. Your episode of branding made me think that, yes, I have my name, Mudhead's Pottery. I have no brand. Way to make me think. I do like both hosts. I hate super professional podcasts. Well, you're listening to the right one.
Thank you, Mudhead's Pottery.
Yes, thank you. We appreciate it. All right. Moving on.
Right. I have listener questions. These two will be quick. First one is from McGinnis Pottery, which I believe we've seen some of her coming through on a couple of occasions. What item did you make a bunch of and then none sold?
Oh, I've got a good one of this.
You've had that? All right. Okay. What do you got?
Oh, I made these fucking terrible By the way, this podcast is explicit. I made these terrible toothbrush holders. They were They were wretched. They were actually.
Did you make it like a closed form and cut out holes for the slots?
Yes.
Or
yeah, and they were like really tall mugs that I didn't want to do anything with, and I squished them so they were oval, and they just did not turn out okay. And I sold a few, but they were such a bad idea. Such a bad idea.
I wonder what the percentage of people that use like electric brushes these days versus traditional brushes. And the traditional brushes come in so many different shapes and sizes with the handles that.
Yeah.
Like, toothbrush holder just seems like an old school.
Yeah, it does. So does a sponge holder, though, but there we are. Yeah, and then I thought that the bells weren't going to sell, but they have been selling okay. I made a bunch of bells.
How many did you make initially, and how many do you have left?
I made 50. And I probably have
Really?
Yeah.
Your first iteration of making them and you made 50 of them?
I don't do things small. What can I say? And I sometimes just make things because you want to, okay? And also, I felt like I had to say that because, the bells. Nice. Sometimes
that'll go in a mystery box before the end of the year, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Just get rid of that stuff.
Yeah, and sometimes you just make things and you're like, you know what? I just really like throwing these right now, and I want to make them. And if nobody buys them, then screw them. That's what you say.
Yeah.
But they've been selling okay. I just had an order with 4 of them, so.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably a little bit seasonal too, right?
I think so.
Kind of want to get it when it's nicer outside.
Yeah.
So
what about you?
Mine would probably be these shallow cat dishes that I made.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, I've got cats, and
obviously
we don't really feed them wet food, and we have automatic feeders. So having the little shallow dishes that are, they were probably 6 inches across, and they had kind of that semi volcano shape, and they were just an inch or inch and a half deep. So they're just small dishes. A lot of times people didn't know what they were, but obviously it's catering to cat people or somebody that wants like a little jewelry dish or something, and they weren't intuitive what they were. People had to ask what they were.
Maybe they just sucked, Ryan.
And I still got a stack of probably 12 of them that are just bisqued on my shelf that are just sitting. So occasionally I'll get a request, and I did have somebody that bought like 6 of them.
Right, if you have 12 cats, you know who to call.
And they're unglazed, so they're just waiting for some glaze. So yeah, somebody reached out maybe 3 or 4 months ago that was asking about them, and they wanted like 6. So hey, I was able to sell 6 of them, so I still have them in case of, for some reason, I want to do something with them. So yeah, those did not sell very well. All right, the second question came from Bold Over Ceramics, Ashley.
Hi, Ashley.
This might be related to the other one, but what form will you never do again, and why?
You got to do that one. I have to think about this.
Oh,
I know it. Okay.
Never do again, though. Do you have it? Do you have one in mind?
I think it's unfair to say never, but I will say most likely not ever. Buttercrocks.
Buttercrock.
The heck, Buttercrocks.
Are those the 2-part?
Yes,
jar?
the 2-part jars. Screw those. I will recommend so many other people for Buttercrocks, but I will not do them again.
Yeah. I'll probably just say, like, shit, it just left my mind. What was I going to say? Not a berry ball.
No, berry
probably just teapots. I don't really I'll make them occasionally, but I'm not gonna get them into the starting rotation here.
Yeah, I wouldn't put teapots into that category only because I never really made them and sold them. I've, of course, made them, but
I just can't think of something that I made in the past besides like a bowl that is like this specific shape.
Yeah.
That didn't sell well. But I mean, I'm not going to like blanket statement say bowls, but
was there anything that you've thrown that you were like, I hate throwing this? Like, I hate throwing really large planters. Like 15 inch, or not 15 inch, like 8 inch. I know that doesn't seem large, but you know, for the majority of my pieces are pretty small. And like, when you make 30 of them at a time, it's like, ugh. And I can do it. It's just
I've thrown some of those larger planters with the trays attached. Maybe that'll be it. Like
that's
I just didn't like the look of them. They just didn't look good to me.
That's the key. I would throw 8-inch planters with no trays attached any day of the week. Doesn't matter. Love them. But 8-inch planters with trays attached, like, just like that little extra clay at the bottom just pisses me off.
It's not easy to glaze because you kind of want to glaze the tray too so that it looks finished. Because if you just glaze down far enough to where it's not including the tray.
You glaze them in 2 parts. You wax the bottom, glaze the bottom, and then you glaze the top.
Yeah.
That's how you have to glaze those.
I didn't have a ton of them, so it was like, eh.
And also, P.S., pro tip, if you are ever glazing something with a hole in the bottom, put your sponge into the hole and dip it down first, all the way up to the rim, if you can. Like, hold the sponge in.
First.
Yep, down, bottom first, base in. So, like with the planters with the rims, I always put my sponge over the hole and then hold it and then dip it down almost to the rim. And then when you bring it back up, clean off the bottom, and then you can just tip it over and then dip it down, and it'll glaze it probably 2 inches down. That's the best way to glaze.
That's a good idea.
Like that, so.
I always just glaze planters inside and out.
Well, you can, but like if you had like an 8-inch, 10-inch planter, that's
a big
you
one.
Can't dip that. So that's a good trick for if you don't want the inside glaze, but you have a hole. Use a sponge.
Okay, thanks for those questions, and we'll be ready for what we're talking about today. So,
what are we talking about today?
I threw it over to you. You've got to...
We're talking about kilns. Last week we talked about wheels and the price of them versus the price you sell them at. And this week we're talking about kilns. I really love this. I love this that we're doing this. And we're not professionals by any means, so we're kind of like not shooting from the hip, but like you just from what we've seen people sell things for and what our experience is. But as most everything that we say is. So.
Yes. Because we've only had experience with a number of kilns and don't speak for every single kiln out there because we don't really know.
But now you have an L&L kiln, so I think we've actually hit almost every single kiln.
Yeah. I mean, I've never used like a Paragon, Even Heat, Amaco, Cress.
Yeah.
Or a number of gas kilns.
No,
I think
we're not.
We can easily say that we're not talking about gas kilns.
We're not
here.
talking about gas kilns today. Okay, let's first start off. I want to start off with asking which kilns you have had and used, and then and then I'll say mine, and then we can talk about the sizes because I think when we talk about sizes, it'll be easier to say the cubic feet. So I want to kind of go over what those are.
Okay, so my first kiln was a Skutt 181 from like 1980 or something. It was in like one of those ring ones that you can stack the rings up.
Ooh.
And it was like a male female where you stuck the box on top of the box beneath it, and it like created a I don't know, a connection from the different rings together. So it didn't have like plugs that plugged into the sides. And it had a kiln sitter. So that was my first kiln. The bricks were in terrible shape. And I probably used that for the first 3 years of having a home studio. And it fired pretty good. Do you want the size of it now?
No, we'll do that later.
Okay. And then my next kiln was the Olympic 2323 HE, which just means it's got the electronic controller.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, it does.
No, HE means
I thought the E. Oh, I thought the HE was part of the like electrical part. Mm-mm. What's HE stand for then? High efficiency?
Maybe, I don't know. Fuck, I don't know.
High electrical. Okay, so anyways, maybe it's a E2323 HE for like electrical, and then high something. I don't know. Anyways, that's the one, and that's one of the ones that I still have. It was used, and that's kind of my best kiln right now. And then I got a Duncan teacher kiln, which is not made anymore. That one was smaller, similar to my Skutt, and I replaced the Skutt at that point. So it was basically the same size as the Skutt 181, and it was about half the size of my Olympic, and that was good for smaller batches of work. And then I sold that when I got my L&L. So.
Oh, I think I figured it out. Okay. So this is you were right, you were half right. So the E stands for electronic controller. If it's got an H, I'm pretty sure that stands for H stands for 3-inch brick kilns, and it fires high to cone 10. So the H stands for cone 10, the E stands for electronic.
Okay, yeah, because it's got the Bartlett controller on it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of the gamut. My L&L now is a E23T, which means it's got the electronic controller. It's 23 inches, and it's the tall version. 23 inches, like, across. Mm-hmm. They've got S, M, and E for small, medium, large, tall, I think, so.
Yeah.
And that's my kilns.
Hooray!
You have a lot more kilns than me.
At
least now. I don't know how many you've had in your lifetime.
I have and had a lot more kilns than you, yes. Okay.
Those are only the ones I've used, so.
Okay. Let's talk about, let's see. I have had, okay. I started off with a Duncan teacher kiln. 3 cubic foot. Which is a smallish, it's the baby kiln, essentially. I think it was 16 inches across, 18 inches high, maybe. Then I got a Crusader kiln.
Crusader?
Yeah, the old potters will know what that is. I got a Crusader kiln, which is probably twice the age of me. And that was none of these were electric, or like have the controller. And then I got a box that was separate for the controller for that one. And then I moved those to the new studio, and then I got a Crucible kiln. And the Crucible and the Crusader were both 7 cubic feet. So they were 23 inches wide and 30 inches tall. Whatever size your L&L is. And maybe a little bit taller. And then I've had a few flow in and out. So I've had I've got and sold a crest kiln. Cheap out the door.
Are crest kilns made anymore? I guess they are.
I don't know.
I think I saw it on Cooking.
I think they are. Got and sold a crest kiln. Then I bought the Olympic. Which one is it? The Olympic 1827 H. No.
That's
I think
deep.
no, it was 1818 HE.
Yeah.
Because it's the $1,700 one that I did not pay that much for. So it's the 1818 HE Olympic, and that's 18 inches wide, 18 inches tall. And then I got the and then I got a 3027 AG, which is 4 feet wide.
Holy crap.
The interior dimensions are different. I know it's 4 feet wide, though. 42 inches. Oh, I lied. It is 40. It's 42 inches wide, 30 inches to and from the front, and then 29 inches deep. That is 17 cubic feet. Then,
that's a big son bitch.
That's a big son of a bitch.
That's the second biggest kiln the Olympic makes.
Yeah, it is.
Electric
And
kiln.
I got that as a factory second. That was a sweet deal.
Mm-hmm.
And then before that, in between those, I also got a Skutt 1227, which is a 10 cubic foot kiln with the electronic controller. It's 27 inches across, and I want to say 30 inches tall.
Okay.
I wasn't counting, but that's a lot. It's been a lot. There's been a lot of kilns.
It's been quite a few, yeah. So all of my kilns, the Duncan one and the Skutt one that I had, were both like 3 cubic foot.
Yes.
The smaller kilns, so.
Yeah, so let's talk about our cubic feet. So the baby kiln is going to be about 3 cubic feet, give or take.
Baby? Is that what you call a baby? Like bigger than a test kiln?
Bigger than a test kiln.
Baby kiln.
A baby kiln is going to be like 18 inches high, 18 inches wide, takes the 16-inch shelves. Okay? Mm-hmm. So that's going to be about 3 cubic feet. Then you're moving up. You have those short Skutts, and I think those are about 5. Like, they're wide, but they're short. Those are about 5 cubic feet. And then you have the tall skinnies. That's a 1027, I believe, for a Skutt, and that's going to be 7 cubic feet. Okay? Yeah. And then
7 cubic feet is probably the most popular size.
Yeah, that's going to be 23-inch shelves. So 24 across or whatever. 25, 24 across. Or 23 across. No, it is 23 across.
I thought they were
21 inch
shelves.
shelves. You're right. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and then it's going to be probably like 30 inches tall. And then you move up to a 1227 Skutt. We'll just stick with Skutts because that's what I know right now. Those are going to be 10 cubic feet. That's a 26-inch shelf, a 28-inch interior. And it's going to be 30 inches tall. And then, I don't know any of the other oval kilns, but my kiln is a 17 cubic foot kiln. And that's, as we had mentioned, 30 inches wide, 42 inches wide, 30 inches long, front to back, and then 30 inches tall.
And big son bitch.
Yeah, and those shelves are the same size. That's actually the reason I got this kiln, was because it's the same size shelves as the 10 cubic foot kiln. So they're 26 inches long, but they're half shelves, so they're 13 inches wide.
Yeah.
And then the middle square shelf is 13 inches by 26.
Yeah. That's great. Is that why you got that size? Because the shelves could double duty?
Well, yeah.
I mean, if you're firing that one, you're probably not firing the second biggest kiln that you have at the same time, or are you?
I fired all three kilns the other day at the same time.
Oh, okay.
So yes.
So you got tons of shelves. Yeah.
Yeah, I have 6 full-size circular shelves for the 10 cubic foot, and then I have that one I call Mr. Red. And then the Big Lebowski is the big oval, and then I have all the advancer shelves for that. But sometimes I'll use the advancers in the Big Red, but Mr. Red. But yeah, no, that's really, like, I was planning on getting another kiln just the same size, like another 10 cubic foot kiln, and Sadie was like, we have a factory second that a forklift hit that didn't damage the inside.
She'd be like, can the forklift hit the other one that I'm going to get on its way to the pallet?
Yeah. And she's like, and we can get you a really good deal. And I was like, let's do that. I actually have to call them right now and see if they have any more seconds. But I don't think
that's funny.
That was just like a special thing. Sadie no longer works at Olympic, sad day, but
make those connections at NCECA.
Yeah, we made that connection at NCECA, me and you both. That was at lunch.
Yeah.
Okay, so now that we've covered the sizes of kilns, that'll be a little bit easier for people to remember when we talk about
Do you want to
feet.
mention this, like, who the different sizes would cater to? Like, what size you should be getting?
Yeah.
How do you know what to
Well,
get?
you're a good example of what is needed for, because you have a 3 cubic foot and a 7 cubic foot, right?
No, I don't have that smaller kiln anymore. I have the L&L 23T and I have the 2323 HE. So
you have two
both of mine are
7s.
7 cubic foot. Yeah.
Okay.
I slowly scaled up. So the first one that I had was just a 3 cubic foot. And then I scaled up and got a 3 cubic foot and a 7 cubic foot. And then I got the 7 cubic foot, 7 cubic foot. So.
Okay. And do you feel like you fill them up pretty well?
Yeah, the only thing is I'm getting to a point recently, it's probably just the holidays, that it's taking longer to fill a bisque kiln in the bigger ones. But I never bisqued in the small one anyways.
Okay.
But it's been nice being able to consistently glaze fire and, like, load both of them at the same time.
Yeah.
With, bisque in this one and glaze in this one. It's nice being able to do that.
Yeah, I think having 2 kilns is kind of like having 2 wheels. Like, one for trimming and one for throwing. It's, like, convenient, like, just super convenient. Yeah. I agree. I only use my 10 cubic foot for bisque, mostly because it's a conate kiln, and I don't want to wear the elements down when both of the other ones are. Both of the other ones are cone 10. But, yeah, so Ryan, probably, have you been keeping track of how much you throw and how much you do?
Yeah, I mean, this year, I'm averaging maybe 250 pieces a month that I'm throwing.
Okay, and those kilns have been perfectly adequate for what you're doing. So
I've obviously ramped up over the last couple years, but
yeah,
depends on how much you're in the studio and how quickly you make.
Right. Yeah, and I think for any hobby potter, a 3 cubic foot kiln is perfectly adequate. Like, I think that even Colby, wasn't she firing in a small kiln? Yeah, I think she was.
Yeah, I think she had like 1027 or something, a little bit smaller maybe.
She had the baby kiln.
Oh, did she?
Yeah, I think she had a baby kiln. There's potters that are producing
like an 818 maybe.
Yeah, like producing like an adequate amount of work, and they're still firing in a baby kiln. When I was in my house, I fired in my small baby kiln, the 3 cubic foot kiln, for everything, and I was still cranking out pieces. So the benefit to the small kilns is that they fire quick. Well, they fire the same amount of time, let's be real, as everybody else, but they slow down, they cool down really quick. So you can turn them over pretty quick.
Yeah.
So a hobby potter, a small, I'd say a 5 to 3 cubic foot kiln is totally adequate. If you're producing a lot of bisque and a lot of glaze all at the same time, having 2 kilns is good. If I was going to be going to a new studio and had all the money in the world, I'd get a 10 cubic foot kiln and a 3 cubic foot kiln. Just for myself.
Yeah.
Just to start. The oval is nice, except you do have to fill it up. And everybody thinks that the oval is like the dream kiln, and it is a nice kiln, but we've already discussed that I'm also very short. You have to fill it all the way, like you don't have to fill it all the way up, but it takes a lot to fill up. And
you can't leave dead space in there. It's not going to fire the same if you have a bunch of dead space in a kiln.
Yeah, I mean,
you can't just fill 2 shelves and leave the rest of it empty.
Right. I mean,
that's it to fire the same as a full kiln.
Waste of money. So I think that I think that if it was just me and if I needed another kiln, like if I was at a 10 cubic foot kiln and then a 3 cubic foot kiln, which by the way, I'll always have a baby kiln if I can.
Are you using that baby kiln for the glaze mostly?
I use it for glaze and bisque. I use it for both.
Both. Okay.
It's so handy. It's like, oh shoot, I forgot to fire that. I should probably get that in the kiln. And then I just load it and I don't feel guilty and I just can turn it around in a day. It's fantastic. Takes 2 seconds to fill. It's awesome.
Yeah.
They're the most underrated kilns, the small ones. And then I think that if I was like a higher producing potter, which I am, but like, and I didn't have the oval, I'd probably do 2 10s.
What would you say your monthly output of throwing is?
I have no idea.
Mm-hmm. What is your potential? What could you produce per month? Like 500 pieces a month?
Probably. But I haven't been in a situation where
you're just making for
myself. Selling. Yeah, and for selling in such a long time. But, and I won't be like that for a while anyway.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember how much John Schmidt makes, because he usually keeps a log. I feel like his is like 300 a month, maybe?
Yeah, I think I recently saw it was like 2,500 for the year or something like that.
Yeah.
And he has 2.
I think he has 2 10 cubic foot, maybe.
No, he has
7 cubic foot.
He is a short squatty. So he has like the wide short one for sure from Skutt, and then I think he has a bigger one.
Oh, okay. I was thinking he had 2 that were very similar size, that were larger.
I think I of course could be wrong, but yeah. Let's see. Josh,
and you kind of want to start with a kiln that you can. It's always good to like use the same kiln and kind of get used to it, so you kind of know how it fires top to bottom and how to load it efficiently, whether you prefer full shells versus half shells, and how you load it typically with the types of forms you make around the thermocouple and the post heights and stuff like that, versus having 2 kilns that you got to like figure out at the same time.
Yeah. I feel like I totally missed another kiln in there, but I don't know what brand it was. I think it was an unmentioned brand. It was no brand.
Have you ever had a front loading kiln?
No. But I have had a no brand kiln. I have had a no brand kiln.
A no brand kiln? Like you won't speak the brand, or they just
No, I literally didn't know the brand. Like it didn't even have anything on the side. Good luck
finding parts for it.
It didn't even have anything on the side. It was like I was like, okay, but it did fire. I used it for bisque only.
As long as the freaking electrical didn't go haywire.
Right. I used to. That's right. When I first had the studio, I had 2 baby kilns. One I only used for bisque, and then I had the Duncan teacher kiln. And I would swap out the plugs. I'd unplug it and plug it in, unplug it, plug it in.
Yeah.
And I would also, the 2 7 cubic foot kilns, I would swap out the thermocouple. So...
oh, that's funny.
And I learned this because I had the digital controller, but it was attached to the wall, so it was freestanding, the Bartlett. And I learned this from the lady at Seattle Pottery Supply. God bless her. I was telling her how I had to move the thermocouple every time between the 2 kilns, and she was like, don't move the thermocouple, just move the wires. So I got 2 thermocouples with 2 blocks, and all I did, and I just kept a screwdriver near it, and I would unscrew the wires and just move the wires over to the other thermocouple. And then just restart the kiln. So I couldn't fire them at the same time, but I could fire one and have one cooling. So.
Okay. Yeah. And you could safely get the wires off after it was
it's
done firing and without like burning yourself on the.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, I did burn myself a few times, but yeah. So yeah, that's that. Okay, let's talk.
You mentioned Josh. Did Josh have something different that you wanted to mention?
I'm pretty sure Josh has 2 7 cubic foot kilns. I could be wrong. They're either 7 or 10s, and he has a full studio with students and everything like that. So, keep that in mind too. If you are diligent with your firing and if you're consistent, it's usually not an issue. Especially if you have 2, you can go back and forth.
Yeah, I mean, I'm firing my kilns like probably 3 times a month total. All of my kilns.
Right, and I'm
not firing them that frequently.
Right, and I'm firing 3 to 4 times a week. So, like when I'm busy.
Yeah.
So, it just depends. I mean, like, if you want to get smaller kilns and just turn them over quicker, then that's an option too. And my electricity bill, I don't know about yours, but mine's cheap AF. And I don't know why. It might be wrong.
Didn't you say you weren't paying electrical for 3 months?
I accidentally
you saw the
didn't.
bill, but...
Oh, no, they switched their payment system, so it just didn't pull my payment.
Gotcha.
But okay. I only paid like $150 to $200 a month for electrical.
Okay. I mean, firing 3 to 4 times a week, that sounds pretty good.
I don't know what regular electrical is, though. So.
And it was a big space. I mean, doesn't electrical vary based on where you're at in the country and stuff?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, let's talk about costs for kilns, and then we'll talk about resale after that. How's that sound?
Sounds good.
All right.
Costs for used kilns?
No. New kiln?
Cost out of the box new kiln. Okay. I've never had a new kiln. Someday.
I know, because you're a cheap ass.
Yeah. I think that when I replace that Olympic, it'll be a new kiln probably.
Yay! Yes, cost for new kilns. And I have all of the kiln distributor websites up. Ryan has...
Clay King.
I wonder if the big ceramic store has...
Probably.
Has like...
Big ceramic shop, you mean?
Yeah, whatever it's called.
Or, yeah, maybe it's big ceramic store. Yeah. All right. Go ahead.
Oh my god, we're already at 42 minutes.
Yeah.
Let's talk about... Well, I have L&L Kiln open, and they have a nice list.
All right. I've got an L&L, so...
Yeah.
Whoop, whoop.
Whoop, whoop. Okay. We can go over these pretty quick, because there's not really much to talk about. But I would say a 3 cubic foot kiln with L&L, especially if it's like 3-inch brick, is gonna be, let's see, would you have one up there that is small?
An L&L one, yeah. Let's see. It does say cubic foot. 2.5 cubic foot?
Okay, so the E18S3?
Yeah.
That one on their website is $21.50.
Their price at Clay King is $16.37.
Ooh, nice. Okay, cool. So that's like your basic small itty bitty kiln, 16.5 diameter, 18 high. And then if you're looking at like a 7 cubic foot kiln, like the E23T.
Yeah, that's what I have. I think mine's the T3 because it's got a 3-inch brick instead of 2.5-inch brick.
Okay. Oh, yeah, the E23T3.
Oh, that changes the cubic feet.
Yeah, but like by 0.3, it's fine. Okay. It's 3,525. Here.
And this price shows 2,535, so $1,000 less.
$1,000 less. Okay. Good. Now we're 10 cubic foot kiln. The biggest one is 4,050.
10 cubic foot E28T.
Yeah.
Okay, that one shows 2874.
What?
That's a big difference.
Is that the T3 or just the T?
E28T.
Oh, this is the E28T3. They don't actually have just the T.
E28T. E28T. Okay, let me see this one. 2874.
Nice. That's way cheaper on Clay King. Oh, wait, you're on Clay King?
Clay King, yeah.
Yeah. Sweet. Okay.
Do you want to mention, like, what the kiln might have that's different than other kilns?
Oh, yeah,
like
you can talk about...
what a feature of this kiln would be?
You can talk about that.
Okay, so the main difference, I would say, with L&L is the elements. They are sitting in ceramic channels, so it's like a little cavity that is in the middle vertically of a kiln brick, and the elements sit inside there. You don't need little metal pins or anything to hold it in place. They just spread out and then stretch into the channels so that they don't move or anything, and you're not fiddling with pushing stuff in and out of the brick and degrading the brick as you change elements. That's the main thing. And then the other one would be that it's the one that I have with the 3 sections. There's usually a thermocouple per section, so or per band. I don't know if it's a band or section.
So the way that kilns work is that they have elements that are sectioned off into sections. So the electrical kind of controls that one section. And like in a Skutt or an Olympic, they just control the section, but they're not linked in any, like they're linked, right? And L&Ls aren't technically linked. So they have thermocouples in the top, the middle, and the bottom. And
so the current controller can determine when to turn elements on based on the temperature difference between the top, middle, and bottom.
Correct. There's a ton of potters that swear by L&L kilns. It's the only ones they'll buy because of this. And there's a lot
That's also a slight drawback because there are 3 thermocouples, so they could get in the way depending on when you're loading, but
yeah,
it's a plus and minus there.
Totally. So, yeah, that's why a lot of production potters don't
good,
have
though.
L&Ls.
They've been good though, and the thermocouples are encompassed inside a tube as well, like a porcelain casing.
Yeah.
So sometimes the thermocouples will just be directly in the kiln, and you can kind of see the end of it, and as it degrades, you can see it get darkened, and then little flecks will come off onto your shelves or whatever. So that one's inside a casing, so the casing keeps it from getting nicked with stuff, and then also from flaking off onto your shelves and all that.
Yeah. Cool. Okay, so those are L&Ls. They range from like 1,500 to, I think if you had 4,000. The T3, you'd probably be paying like 3,200 probably on the Clay King or whatever. Okay.
Those are all top loading kilns, the Easy Fire kilns. There's some other ones in here from L&L, but those are the most common.
They obviously have a ton of kilns. I mean, their most let's see if there's most expensive one. Ooh.
They have some front loading ones too.
Their TB3445-D-PB electric kiln is 34.6 cubic feet, 43.5 inches wide.
Is this one of the Jupiter kilns?
I don't know. Da Vinci square rectangular kilns.
Da Vinci kiln. Okay, I see that one. Okay, repeat the number again.
TB.
Well, I could just scroll down to the biggest cubic foot.
This isn't even their most expensive. This is
What's
just
the cubic foot? 34 cubic feet?
Yeah, 34.6.
Okay, go ahead.
Four-
T3445D?
Yeah, we'll do that one. That one's 12,680.
Holy shit.
Oh, wait, I found one that's 57,000. They're 100 cubic foot.
Holy shit package kiln.
Bell lift kiln series. They're 100 cubic foot kiln, 66 inches width, 48 inches diameter, and 54 inches high. Oh, depth, sorry. Dyno Troll Zone Control. It's $57,000. Like, they didn't even put in any weird numbers in there. They're like, 57,000. It's fine. It's fucking fine.
Okay, that must be just on their website. I don't see that one.
It is, I'm sure. It's an industrial kiln. Okay, well, I'm getting out of L&L kilns now.
All right, what's next?
Okay, pottery kilns. Olympic?
Sure. All right, 3 cubic foot. Are you doing the mass version, the Medallion Art Series, or the other series?
Easy Mover Stackers?
Just the regular model.
Yeah, I don't know what the Medallion Artist Series is, but
Okay, it looks like model. Which one do you want to do? 1818 or 1823?
let's do 1818 HE.
Okay, 1818. 2.6 cubic feet.
Yeah.
And that one, what's your retail?
1765.
Okay, this retails at $13.60.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Perfect. And that's the HE?
I mean, it said 1818E, but I can see the controller on it. And
No, that's not the
content,
same.
Sorry, content option added is $115 more. So
Okay.
$1,500.
Okay. Cool. Great. Okay, and then let's move up to the
7 cubic foot.
Yeah, which one is that?
It looks like probably the 2327. Actually, I didn't realize my kiln is not a 7 cubic foot. It's 5.83, 2323, because it's a little bit shorter.
Okay, do you want to do that one?
Mine's about 6 cubic foot.
Okay. 2323 HE? That one?
Yeah.
Okay, that one's 2,815.
Okay, this one's going to be 2250.
Cool. Wow, you get a real deal getting them from
option.
like Clay King or the ceramic store.
Well, I mean, they buy them wholesale or whatever from that distributor, and then they make the difference. So
they don't make any money off of kilns, probably. Any of those big ticket items, nobody makes any money off of. They just get them and then they sell them cheap
for the lowest price.
I bet. I have no doubt.
Because, I mean, you're buying this one time, so you're dropping thousands of dollars at one point. So,
right,
going to the lowest price, if you save $300 here versus this other place, then
right. And also, like, if you're gonna spend $3,000 on a kiln off of Clay King, you're also gonna buy your shelves on there, and you're gonna buy your posts, and you're gonna buy all these other things that you need for it. So they're making money off of the shelves, the posts, like the thermocouples, like all the
shipping
things.
cost is going to be a big factor too. If you can save, if you pay half of shipping, then you're making out even better. Yeah.
Okay. And then the biggest one here they have is the 2831.
Do they have a 10 cubic foot? We did 10 cubic feet before as well.
I think that's the 2831.
2831. That's a 12 cubic foot here, it looks like.
Oh, then 2827?
Yeah. HE. What's your retail? 2827. 36,000 or 3,600. All right, this one is 2,700.
Nice. They make it really hard to go to the source, don't they? Like, why would I buy a kiln off of Olympic.com if, like, it's going to be exponentially cheaper to go through a second party?
I mean, it could depend on where you're physically located, right? The shipping cost could differ based on if you're shipping it from Georgia, where Olympic's based, versus
Yeah.
Wherever they're shipping it.
Okay. Let's look at Skutt now.
Did you want to go to an oval kiln? We didn't do an oval kiln.
Nah.
All right.
I mean, we could.
Well, you know how much yours was. How much was yours?
Mine was 5,000.
5,000 retail?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, that's not what I paid for it, but that's what it was.
Okay. Yeah, so. I think that's about 1,000 more than what the other one was we talked about, right?
Yeah.
L&L, yeah. Okay, Skutt. Where do we start? This one doesn't tell me the cubic feet in this.
That's okay. I think
this chart, but I mean, I think we kind of know. 1818.
Yeah, the KMT 1818.
Okay.
It just
18,
fits.
Probably the 3-inch brick. Okay, it looks like this one. What's your retail? 1818 3-inch brick.
Oh, sorry. They just made this all weird. Okay. 1818 3-inch is 1820. Wait.
Okay, this.
Wait. Is it KM?
KM, yeah. Kiln Master.
Okay, sorry. 2060.
Okay. 1650.
Ooh, nice.
A little different. I mean, I can see the retail on here. It shows me the retail above the
right.
price.
Says like
so
how
I mean,
much
I can read those off if you want.
Okay, what about the 1027? That's the
1027 is the best seller, yeah. And all of these that we're saying, these all have electronic controllers too.
Yeah. 1027 3-inch. 3,470.
Okay, 2580.
2580. Okay, what about the 1227 3-inch?
1227 3-inch. That's also a bestseller. Looks like your retail is at about 4,000.
Yeah, 420.
Okay, and this one is 3,200.
Ooh. Okay, and now your oval kilns, I feel like I should mention on Skutt oval kilns, they have like a weird shelving system in the bottom, and it makes it really tough to put anything on the bottom. Like, I have a full flat shelf on the bottom of mine that's like a huge oval. These are.
You do have a Skutt oval?
No, I have an Olympic, but the Skutt oval, their shelving system is really funky on the bottom, and it makes it kind of difficult, and you can't fit as much into that Skutt oval as you can in mine. So that should be noted.
Do you still have like a 1-inch post at the bottom that you sit that shelf on, or?
Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can. I don't know if I did, but it's also got a plate at the bottom. But mine had some weird stuff. Mine was cracked, so I decided to take out the 1-inch post so that it didn't crack anymore.
Oh, so you just sat that shelf directly on the floor?
Yeah, which isn't recommended, but it is what happened.
And when you said metal, it's because there's a sheet metal underneath the bottom of the floor.
Yeah. Okay, let's see. The 1627 3-inch PKLF, which is a phase 1 240, is 7,750.
Yeah, this one's showing about $6,000.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's $1,000 more than an Olympic. Now, I've had Olympics and Skutts, and Olympics aren't as tight in their mechanics as Skutts are. Skutts are a fucking fine-ass made kiln.
I wonder how the L&L oval would compare to it.
Yeah.
I feel like you could get over the thermocouple thing if it was an oval kiln, right?
No.
No?
No.
Because when you're loading, it just gets awkward?
It just gets in the way.
But it's only on one section of the kiln. If you've got that big of a kiln, it's only going to be in one little area.
No.
You still got the rest of the kiln that you can put however you want.
I get pissed off at the one thermocouple in my oval kiln.
Okay. Yeah, so that Skutt's pretty up there. Okay. What's next?
I'm looking at the ovals. I don't.
And if you're buying an oval kiln, you're probably already pretty experienced with kilns and have a good idea of what you've used in the past, and you probably stick with whatever brand you've already got. So
yeah, for the love of God, do not buy an oval kiln if it's your first kiln. This is the worst idea in all of the universe. Yeah, I can't find the oval kiln easily. So, okay, then we move on. Let's move on to cone art. Is there cone art in there? Now, cone art is questionable.
There's not.
Okay, then I'll just do cone art. Cone art is questionably the best kilns. I've heard from many people.
How is that?
I don't know. I've heard from many, many, many people that cone arts are the best kilns on the market. And I don't have one, so I'm not biased towards them. I'm just telling you what I've heard. First of all, they don't have peepholes. They do, but the peephole cover, you don't have to put the stupid little plug in there. It's got a little flap that goes over it.
It's like a metal.
Yeah, it's like a metal flap.
That you slide up.
Yep. The kiln lid is designed so it lifts up and it moves back and out, so it's not resting on the back of the kiln. So it's kind of like out of the way. The kiln lids are metal. They're not kiln brick. And they're super shiny. Rebecca just got one, and she says she loves
We
it.
didn't mention the differences in what you would see in an Olympic versus a Skutt. I mean, those are pretty comparable, right?
The what?
The brick and all that. Like we mentioned the
the
L&L
Olympic.
And like what was different in those? What would you say is different in the Olympic versus the
Olympic and the
others?
Skutt are essentially the same thing, except the Skutts are built to perfection. The Olympics are built well. They're just not as tight. My Skutt, the elements have never even thought about popping out. Even when I replace them, they're secured and all good. And I feel like the elements in my Olympic are a little bit loose, and they kind of move out of their spots a little bit more than in both. And I'm talking about both, my mini one and my bigger one. And they kind of they're trying to scoot out the longer that they're being used.
And you have brand new bricks in those kilns, so you're judging them based on brand new.
Yeah, I'm judging it based on
bricks.
Brand new, straight out of the box. And the wiring in the Skutt is the controller is in a one solid unit that has all of the elements in it. So all you have to do is kind of unscrew it and move it out. And it's super easy to change the elements. It's super easy to find everything. It's super simple. I haven't changed the elements on my Olympics yet. However, I have changed out the thermocouple on the small Olympic, and it was a pain in the ass. But that's just because it's it would be comparable to an older Olympic. The Bartlett controller is over the element or over the thermocouple, and just kind of taking that out. Skutt uses better screws. The Olympic screws have already rusted through, and Skutts haven't. And they have
that's the only Olympic thing I can probably contribute is my bricks are degraded anyways, but the screw thing is accurate.
I just always go out and buy some stainless steel screws and replace them the first time I move anything. Because it's just that's just the way it is. But yeah, and I just the Olympics, and they fire the exact same. The firing method and process is great, both, all the same. I just felt like the Olympic was just a little bit.
It wasn't as easy to do the maintenance. You can cut out if you were doing some maintenance that took 30 minutes with a Skutt, it might take an hour for the Olympic or 45 minutes for the Olympic.
Yeah, maybe, yeah. And Skutt is a much bigger company than Olympic is. Olympic's a small company, They've been there for a long time. They don't have very many employees. They're making everything by hand kind of stuff. Skutt does too, but they're more of a production company, so that you kind of have to look at that. So, but a kiln is a kiln, essentially. After having a brand new Skutt and a brand new Olympic, I'd probably scoot towards a Skutt if I was going to get brand new again. But the price tag for Olympics are really quite nice.
Yeah, I mean, we just mentioned the Skutt stuff, and it was It's a little bit.
They're
more,
like
right?
$1,000 to $2,000 more than the Olympics, and that's the thing. It's like you're giving and taking. Like, yeah, it's a little bit more of a hassle on the back end of an Olympic, like fixing everything, but it fires just as good. It's, you don't have to change them out. They're new kilns. You don't have to fix them all that much. So, yeah, it'd be a toss-up between an Olympic and a Skutt for sure. That price tag, man.
Yeah, I think if I got a new one, I would... I feel like I would go with another L&L because I like it so far. I mean, I've only had it for like 5 or 6 months, but I have changed the elements in a couple rings of that. I've changed the thermocouples, like super easy.
Yeah.
And I've troubleshooted with, something messing up with it, and, I figured out how to work around it. But the Olympic, for the most part, the issues I've had is the top to bottom temperature difference. So it hasn't fired evenly for me.
Yeah, but that's because it's an old... That's a fucking old kiln.
Too, so, I mean, it's heavily used, so I don't know.
Yeah, mine fires the same all the way through. Also, another thing to mention is that the Olympic, they have a different thermocouple than the Skutts do. Skutts have the classic, like, one wire that's looped around that has the ceramic encasing around it. It's not the protective thing, but, the wire has, like, 2 little circles of ceramic beads around it, and then a wide oval bead, and then another one. And the Olympic thermocouple is a solid piece of metal that is 2 parts metal bound together. And what I found from doing a little bit of research a couple weeks ago is that those are great. They're fantastic. They are great for lower firing kilns, but once they start firing a while, they just short out. Like the one in my baby kiln, which has been fired significantly more than the oval, it just failed. So, and then Quinn was like, "Don't even get the Olympic one again. It's $40 instead of $20."
$40 for what? For the Olympic one versus
thermocouple.
a Skutt
Yeah.
one?
And they're not supposed to work. They degrade after 1800 degrees.
Yeah,
so,
I get little brown flecks on all of my shelves that are right beneath the thermocouple.
Do you have a regular thermocouple, or is it all solid one-piece metal?
It's one-piece metal.
Okay. Yeah, and so, I think all kilns do that, honestly. My Skutt does that, too.
But how much is going to shed off of a Skutt one that's a little bit of metal exposed versus a whole stick that's 3 inches sticking into your kiln that's exposed?
See, I've had way more shavings off of my Skutt than my Olympic.
Okay.
Way
and I don't
more.
have any from the L&L because it's encased inside porcelain.
Right. Right. But yeah, so I essentially had to change out the Olympic thermocouple to a Skutt thermocouple. And so then I had to drill out the hole a little bit. I had to rewire some stuff. It was fine, and it's now...
thermocouples are the same. They hook up to 2 different wires or whatever.
Right, they're fine. It just isn't designed for that kiln, so I kind of had to do some DIY maintenance. But so that is something that should be said. That thermocouple will have to either be exchanged in the future, or it will not last as long, and they're $40 instead of $20 to replace. So. Okay.
Did you want to go to the cone art?
Yeah.
I'm on their website too, so I'm kind of looking as you're looking too.
Yes.
So you said something about the lid is metal, but it looks like brick, but it looks more like cement. It doesn't look like soft brick.
No. The brick, it's okay. You can't see because it's not down. It's fire brick on the inside, but when you close the lid, it's full sheet metal on the top.
Oh, okay.
So you know how your kiln has a brick on the top when you close the lid? This is not like that.
I guess that keeps it from degrading from sitting stuff on top of it and all
Correcto, yes.
I mean, it looks pretty tight and held in there pretty good.
Sturdy. Okay, let's look at the 1822 because I feel like that's the most comparable to a 3 cubic foot.
That looks like a Duncan teacher kiln to me. Yeah,
it totally does. 3.3 cubic feet. I didn't even see if they had prices on here. They're not going to have prices.
I mean, the housing of this thing looks legit.
It is legit. Metal. Yeah, it's a solid body, which I love. I hate having the 3 bodies because, like, I always have to lean into the kiln and always scoots it forward a little bit. I hate that.
Mine does that a little bit when I open the lid of my Olympic. It'll, like, scoot a little bit because the top section is only, like, 6 inches tall. So it's pretty lightweight. It looks like the taller ones can clip together, too.
Yeah. Well,
they don't have prices on here.
That's frustrating. That's frustrating, Conar. We were trying to give you a point.
We're trying to give you a, you know. All right.
Something. We're trying to give you something. God, but their oval kilns look fantastic. I also kind of want to get a square kiln. They sound fun.
A square kiln?
They're
bigger.
A
front-loading one?
No, the top-loading ones. Top-loading square kiln.
Oh, I see round kilns. Okay. I just need to keep scrolling. Huh. Shells would be interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, that's more space efficient, right? I mean, around when you're losing space, why not?
Yeah.
5 cubic foot. This, huh. Why are there no prices anywhere?
The ceramic shop has prices.
Okay. All right, you're on it.
Yeah, give me a... Okay, I've got the oval kiln. That's what I just pulled up. It's... Can
you start the lower one? 1822?
Well, fine.
You're at the oval one. Why do you want to start the biggest one? Why don't you start at the lowest? The
lowest...
the lowest in the comparables that we talked before was like 1800 for the other kilns, right?
Shh. Okay. Okay, can you tell me the codes on it?
1822D.
1822D. Okay. That one is 2,420.
That's a 3.3 cubic foot kiln.
Yeah, that's pricey. They know they're
23, good. 2327D. That looks more like the Skutt 1027.
Yeah, how many cubic feet is that?
7 cubic foot.
Okay, that one's 3,056. The retail on it though is 4,075.
Holy crap! Okay, so you're paying. So like Skutt was 1,000 more. This is like 2,000 more.
This is like the Lexus of the kilns. Okay.
Did you want to go up from
oval. There? What about the 2827? That's probably like 10 cubic, right? Yeah, 10 cubic foot. That one's... The retail is 5,185. The sale price is 3,888. You save $1,000. You save $1,296.
Dang.
Okay, let's do the... I don't think they have any of the oval. Oh wait, I was in the wrong thing. I've got to go oval.
All right, call out an oval that you want. These look very similar. I don't even know that these pictures are much different.
Let's do a 4227.
Okay.
That's 16.7.
16 and a half cubic foot.
Yeah. Their retail price is 7,515. Their sale price is 5,636. So that's pretty comparable, actually. The larger you get, I think the larger, when it comes to the kilns, I think for Conard at least, the larger you get, the more value you're getting out of the kiln. Plus, their kiln lids have 2 supports, so it's not just on one measly support on the side.
Wait, even with your oval kilns, they only have 1 support?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a little weird, right?
Yeah.
Those lids got to be heavy, right?
Yeah, this is the patented lid lifter system.
At no extra charge. And they have Bartlett controllers.
Yeah. Have you ever you probably haven't, but putting on one of those lid systems that has the spring assist?
Oh gosh, my L&L does. That thing is a nightmare when we had to transport it.
It is the most frightening thing in the entire universe.
You're gonna like decapitate somebody when you do that thing.
The Skutt was so terrible. Like, I remember putting on the Skutt one and I was like, we're gonna fucking kill ourselves. Like, somebody is gonna lose an eyeball. And then I had to put on the on the Olympic one, and the Olympic spring assist is so weird. It's like 3 feet. You have to stretch it 3 feet.
Are these only on the oval kilns?
The oval and the 1227. The Skutt 1227. That's my 10 cubic foot kiln.
Okay.
So on the 1227, I had to like ask somebody how to do it because the instructions weren't good enough, and then a friend had to help me. And then on the oval kiln, it's like you have to stretch the spring out like 2.5 feet to the top of the lid, and it was so terrifying. I was like,
holy crap. So you're are you stretching it from like the bottom of the kiln, like the bottom ring of the kiln to the top?
Yeah.
You're supposed to manually do that?
I can't remember how I did it, but like it was so scary. Ugh.
The thing is with the L&L, like if you're transporting this thing, it's a nightmare. It's got the spring assist, but the whole back side of it is like metal. It's like a metal casing that is going to screw onto every section, but the metal goes from top section to bottom, and there's the spring attached to the top of it. So if it's not screwed in, like this whole piece will like flip up.
Oh my God.
So you have to force the whole thing down and then screw them in on each section.
Oh,
so
yeah.
That was a nightmare trying to transport it.
Another thing about the cone arts that I've heard from reputable sources, like my pottery supplier, is that a cone art kiln has a piece of metal that attaches to the top and goes all the way down to the floor that you can customize the height to. That way, so like on my oval kiln, the brick on the lid and on the top ring is like higher than the metal, so it's sagging a little bit. You know, maybe because it wasn't tightened up a bunch, or maybe because when it got hit by the forklift, it kind of like wigged it out. So that means that the lid doesn't sit flush on the kiln. And on the cone art kilns, they have a metal piece that attaches straight to the ground so that stays in place. My Skutt sags too, like the top ring sags a little bit, and like the lid, I always have to push that metal ring that's around the lid down a little bit because it's kind of like scooting up a little. So that won't happen with a cone art. That's another benefit to that.
I mean, the cone arts look like you can like clip them together, each section.
You can do that with a Skutt too.
Okay.
The Olympics, you don't clip them together. They just have slides that like slide into the spot that they need.
Yeah, mine's so used that they degraded because the screws were so rusted that it came apart when I was transporting it the first time. So the little channels slowly started falling off, and then the little vertical pieces that slide in fell off, and yeah. Transporting it like 4 times there's none of that anymore.
Yeah. That's crazy. Are we going to have enough time to talk about used kilns? Yeah.
I mean, we can. Did we hit pretty much all the kilns there?
I feel like we did.
The most popular?
I feel like we did.
Amaco is probably still up and coming with the popularity of their kilns.
Yeah.
I don't know how long they've been making kilns, but does Josh have an Amaco kiln?
He has an L&L, and I don't know what he has. They are in such rough shape, though. They're
like, and then I don't know anything about Paragon kilns or
me neither.
Even
I don't want to talk about those because we don't know anything about them.
So that'll cover the majority of the kilns, though. All right, used kilns. Is this like what you should look for when you're thinking about buying a used kiln?
Yeah,
and like what prices you're thinking?
Yeah, I think that's good, but also I want to read what the buying and selling on the big ceramic store says, because I read it the other day and I felt like it was pretty good information. So we'll start with that. There is no easy way to determine how much is used kiln worth? ? There is no easy way to determine this, since they needed a comma. By the way, if you're with Big Ceramic Store, you have a typo. Typo, first sentence. Okay. Determine this, comma, since there is no blue book price you can use as a reference. Normally, we recommend the following. Find the price of a new kiln on our website that is similar in size and features to the used ones. You can assume that a used kiln is worth 25 to 50% of that amount. Maybe a little more or less depending on where, age, operating condition, etc. Also, they're referring to their retail price, not the sale price. Don't get that messed up. So going to the manufacturer and finding their price actually would be better for selling a kiln. Sometimes getting a good price for a used kiln is just dumb luck. Find the perfect buyer for the kiln, blah, 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 blah. Okay, cool.
So the 50% would be like, hey, I just replaced elements. I know they work. And it's in great condition. And the bricks are in really good condition. You get shelving and you get posts with it. Maybe. Yeah. I feel like you always just get that with it because why would they sell that without selling the shelves and stuff? But I mean, if you're going to use them for something else, maybe. But
could kill me before you get my advancer shelves.
Not your advancer, not
but
advancers.
But that's the thing though. Like if you have
shelves.
really nice shelves, why would you sell those? Especially if you're getting a better kiln, you know. So
it depends. I guess I'm thinking of like a 3 cubic foot kiln. You're not going to keep the 3 cubic foot kiln shelves.
Right. Yeah.
But.
Yeah. So the thing that you want to look for in a used kiln is bricks, elements, thermocouple, and if it works. And the lid.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You want to make sure that
how do you judge some of this stuff? Is like the thermocouple, you just said $20 to $40. I feel like the thermocouple is definitely at the bottom of that list for the most part.
It's definitely at the bottom, but like look at the encasing, look at everything that's going on in there, look at the wiring inside to make sure that it's like not a fucking shit show.
Yeah.
You know. But
and it's hard to tell the element state unless they keep good records, unless they just look so.
But sometimes I'm
gonna have to replace these.
Right. Sometimes you can buy a kiln and the elements are like falling out of their element casings and like, you know, like they clearly look like they've been used more than they should. And at that point you can say, yo, these elements, I'm gonna have to replace all the elements and it's gonna cost me $300 to do it. So you can use that to your advantage to talk down a price. If they are not, because a lot of people sell kilns and they don't know who. They're like, oh, my grandma had this kiln and I'm just trying to get her some extra cash.
Or get rid of it out of her basement or garage or whatever. Do you have a typical price of elements? What that's going to run you to replace for a 3 cubic foot versus something else?
The 3 cubic foot, it cost me like $150 to $200, and then the 10, it cost me like $350. I have not replaced the elements on the oval, but I can't imagine it being cheap.
Yeah, that's about what I was thinking. I was thinking about $150 for a small kiln.
Yeah.
And if you're getting it used, when something goes out, you're probably gonna it's smart after multiple discussions we've had in the past that you should probably replace all of them to get a nice reset.
Yes.
And then while you're replacing that, if you have bricks that are causing super sagging of elements, like replacing those at that time might be a good idea.
Yeah.
Because you're going to have the same issue down the road when you have to replace the elements the next time. They're just going to keep sagging. So
totally. Oh, also the first thing is temperature. You got to make sure that your kiln's firing to the right temp. So look for a cone 10. Preferably if you're firing cone 6. If you're firing cone 6, you can get away with a cone 8, but I wouldn't recommend it. Cone 8s, the difference between firing a cone 8 and a cone 10 kiln to cone 6 is like the how do I explain it? Like it's like if your car can go 150. If your car can go 150 miles an hour, the difference is between going the cone 8 is going like 145 miles per hour on that 150 mile an hour engine versus going 120 miles an hour on the 150 mile an hour engine. So that's kind of a difference. You want to make sure that you get a higher cone so that the elements will just last longer.
Push it to the limit.
Don't get a cone 6 kiln if you're firing to cone 6. That is dumb. If you have to do it, fine. But if you can afford to find weight and get a higher cone or get a cone 10 kiln, do it.
Yeah, it's worth the extra $115 to upgrade your kiln if you're getting a new kiln or whatever.
Yeah, because you might be able to get it to cone 6, it might fire to cone 6, but then after 25 firings, you're gonna be like, oh, it won't go to cone 6 anymore.
It's not gonna fire as efficiently, and it's just gonna take so much more work to get up to temp.
Yeah, if you have a cone 6 kiln, just use it for bisque. That's it. So your bricks, look at your bricks, make sure that, nothing's super cracked, super sagging, super chipped off. The bottom and the top will have cracks in the lids and the base. That's just the way that works.
Yeah. The base of my Duncan kiln was perfect when I got it, and then over time, something about the texture of the base of the Duncan. Mm-hmm. Do you remember the base of the Duncan? It was kind of spongy. It wasn't really hard and firm. Not spongy, but you know what I mean. If you had posts in there and it would sink into the bottom. So it really sucked over time because I would pack the shit out of my kilns. Yeah. So the weight was probably terrible on that base.
Yeah. What else?
How much is it to replace bricks? I would say bricks are pretty inexpensive. They're probably $6 to $10 a brick.
I've never replaced bricks, so I'm not a good answer for that. I keep my kilns in pristine condition if I can, and
I've replaced probably 8 to 10 bricks maybe over the years. Yeah. I just replaced them on the L&L because I had a ceramic casing that was broken or something.
How much is that?
You get it with the brick, so because it's embedded inside it, you have to break the casing to get it out of the brick, so you can't really replace it without replacing the whole brick. It might have been $15 for that brick. Yeah. Because it has the casing with it, so.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not that difficult though. Okay, so the brick, the lid. What about the lid? What would show you signs of holy shit, this not good?
If it was severely cracked, and you could also see it on the top of the lid, it was all the way through, I think that I would question that. But also buying a new lid wouldn't be if it was
How much is a new lid?
I don't know, $150. I don't know for sure. That is I haven't looked it up. So, but also I
feel like it's a weird thing to replace a lid.
I've seen janky ass lids that people have been using forever. So.
And some of that the degrading of the lid comes from opening the kiln too quickly or propping the lid when you're cooling it down and stuff like that, where it's getting hit with colder air.
Yeah.
Quickly.
Yeah, I mean, it would be a tough sell. That lid would have to be almost off for me to not.
Sinking inward.
Yeah.
Have you seen those ceramic casualties where the lid falls in? I think I've seen one of those. It was holy shit.
God. Yeah.
Just take the whole kiln and throw it out.
Right. Yeah, that would be tough. Rust. Look for rust. If there's any rust, run. And that's not just wear and tear. All of the Olympic oval kiln that has the black stuff on it, but that's just from moisture and stuff. It can be easily rubbed off, but if it's visibly eating through, maybe that's not a good idea. I
think I might have a little discoloration on my kiln from the wax burning off.
Yeah, that's what mine is too.
And it leaks out a little bit, and it darkens the metal.
Yeah, and it's that's fine. I'm just talking if there's a rust hole in the side, you should probably avoid that. I see a ton of pictures on Clay Buddies of people being is this a good deal? And it's a $400 kiln, and it looks like a disaster on the inside. And that's, I would say no. No, that's not a good deal. If it's going to cost you more to fix it than for you to buy it, it's not a good deal.
Some of it's also ignorance of how much it costs to replace elements and what the road ahead is going to be.
Right. But, like, let's say, okay, for instance, my baby kiln that has one little nick, I'm so mad about it, in the brick on the top. That's the only thing that's wrong with it. And it is a year old, and it retails $1,700. I'm selling it for $950 with the shelves.
And that's because it's perfectly half of what the retail is.
Yeah, pretty much. And I mean, like, yeah, and it's in great shape. I even, like, and it's just got a new thermocouple. It doesn't need new elements for a while. It's in great shape. It
definitely getting the posts and the shelving definitely factors into the price of what you're willing to pay for it, because if you're gonna have to spend an extra $200 on shelving and kiln posts and stuff, I mean the little stilt things, like people chuck those at you trying to get rid of those every time I get a used kiln, I feel like. So they kind of piled up. I gave them to the next person that I sold my Duncan kiln to, so I gave a bunch.
Totally. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the medium Skutt, my 1227, which is not a cone 10 kiln, it's a cone 8 kiln. That is I'm selling it for $1,600. Shelves not included. The shelves are expensive on that one. So, the oval kiln I have for $3,500 for sale, which is a bit more than half, but it's in fantastic shape.
So if anybody wants to buy an oval kiln before Becca leaves,
hit me up.
Washington. Hit her up.
Otherwise, I have to move it.
You can drive. You can drive and get it. Somebody in California over there, or Oregon.
Also, a Peter Pugger. Somebody is in the West Coast and wants a pug mill. That's for sale.
How much for the pug mill?
$4,200.
$4,200 pug mill.
2 years
There's not
old.
a lot of used pug mills out there, so.
Yep, 2 years old. VPN 9 SS. Stainless steel. Yep.
Nice.
Somebody wants it. Like, somebody asked me, and she's in New York, and I'm wondering if she thought I was in Washington D.C.
Probably.
I don't know. I wouldn't drive across the country to get it. At that point, you should just order a brand new one.
Right. What's the okay, so if we're going through one use case of let's say your very first kiln that you're looking on Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, whatever, and you come across a kiln that is, bricks are a little bit degraded, elements are sagging a little bit, but
how big? 7 cubic foot. We'll say that 7 cubic feet.
Whatever the small one.
Oh, 3 cubic. Okay, three
kiln
cubic
that somebody would get.
Okay, 3 cubic foot. Bricks are degraded.
Kiln sitter? Do we want to go kiln sitter?
Yep, we want to go kiln sitter.
We didn't talk anything about kiln sitters, but I don't know what retail of kiln sitters would be, but those are most likely going to be older kilns. They're not going to be 3 years old. They're going to be like 15 or 20 years old, probably.
Right. So if you got a 3 cubic foot kiln sitter with shitty bricks, no, grandma's selling it and they've fired it up to make sure it works, but they don't know for sure.
They were doing like molds and stuff back in the day or something.
Yeah, but it goes up to cone 10 because they didn't know what they were buying when they bought it.
And there's no glaze drips on shelving or on bricks and all that. Yeah.
Max 300.
I was thinking like 200 to 250 maybe.
I would look for a kiln like that for $100. There's a kiln up in Gold Bar right now that's $100 that's about that size, but it only goes to cone 6. And it didn't look great on the inside. But I was looking at a lot of kilns on OfferUp and on Facebook Marketplace recently. Not because I'm buying. But God, people just think their kilns are worth so much money. It's just...
And there's a lot of supply out there. There's always kilns available.
There's always kilns available. That's the problem.
There's always used kilns.
And like these are high. Like the kilns that I'm selling have a fair amount of money into them, but they are literally a year old. Like I bought them last summer. We're talking about kilns that are 20, 30 years old that don't have an electronic controller. You don't know how long it's going to last. You don't know how rusted it is on the screws and everything like that, trying to get it apart. I mean, I bought my Duncan for $75.
I got my Duncan teacher for free because somebody got it and they didn't use it.
Yeah.
Or they got it. Maybe they got it for free, or their mom got it for them or something, and they knew that I was a potter and I was a friend, and they gave it to me because they knew I could make use of it. So yeah. And then my Skutt that I got, the very first Skutt that I got, was free because it was somebody that was an alumni of the school that I went to, and they lived down the street, and they were like, "Hey, I've got these 2 kilns that I want to get rid of."
Right.
And it was in terrible shape, but you kind of learn.
Yeah.
Learn how to do it. Yeah, $150 probably.
7 cubic foot kiln if it's in pristine condition. Kiln sitter, old school, $700. If it's in shitty-ish condition, $300 to $500.
I think that's about. I paid $1,500 for the Olympic 2323 HE electronic controller with a clay boss wheel. That was $1,500 plus some like shelving and stuff. So, and all the shelving inside the kiln. So yeah, I probably paid. I mean, the wheel was probably, if you retail it out, was probably $300 maybe.
Yeah.
And then depending on how you look at it, but.
Yeah, I'd say like $600 to $700 for a 7 cubic in like really good condition, which you can find. Yeah.
And then you're probably not buying a used oval kiln unless it's in pristine. Like you're gonna probably pay full price new for that, I would guess.
Yeah, if you can buy an oval kiln,
whoever we're talking to is probably not listening to us for our expertise if they're buying an oval kiln. Yeah.
If you're buying an oval kiln, I hope you stopped at the beginning of this episode. Just didn't even listen to the rest. Yeah, I mean, I don't know who's gonna buy a used oval kiln. Who knows? Like, even if, like, that's why I was like,
looking for a buyer, but
I'm looking for a buyer. But I honestly, I reached out to the production pottery studio down the street, and that's the only like glimmer of hope that I have is them. Because
is there another studio, like a clay teaching studio that's in Seattle or something like that was interested? Or Tacoma?
No, it's in Snohomish. They like 10 miles away. I think they got a kiln from Seattle Pottery Supply, and it's like I'm pretty sure it's close to kicking the bucket. So I emailed her and was like, "Do you want this? Because I have one."
Yeah.
So we'll see. I mean, it's hard to sell an oval kiln because it's 80 amps. That's 80 amps of power. Mine's single phase. Like, it's hardwired into the fucking wall. Like, it's...
Yeah.
Like, that's a lot, So...
It's probably too late to tell... Can you tell Tacoma Art Center and have them put it out to some people and give them...
I can call them.
Are they going to ask for a percentage or something?
Yeah, I can call them and see, but they're pretty stingy, so... I mean, like, that's the thing. If you try and sell it through somebody else, they're going to, like, cut it down quite a bit. So they got to make their money, too. And I get that, so.
Yeah.
But, yeah, definitely. Let's see. A 10 cubic foot kiln, if it was in, like, good condition and it had a controller, I would pay $1,000 to $1,500 for that.
Yeah, I was thinking about that.
Like, $1K to $1.5K.
I got my L&L 23T for $700. So I feel like I got a good deal on it, even though I had to replace the elements or I had to replace 2 elements and then all the thermocouples. I mean, I'm still under $1,000 for that.
Yeah.
So it kind of art negotiation a little bit of like knowing how to negotiate and knowing what you're looking at, knowing more than the seller. Like there's definitely some art there of the negotiation. So
yeah. Yeah, for sure. It's crazy. Kilns are freaking crazy.
I wonder, have you ever had to change a plug out and how much that costs from an electrician?
I've had to change out multiple.
I mean, my dad's done it because he like knows what to get. I mean, you can, yeah.
Costs $10. It costs $10 for a plug. It's like cheap
to have an electrician replace it if you don't know what you're doing.
I don't know.
Or have you always done it yourself?
I've always done it myself.
Okay.
Like the actual plug. Okay, I've had a few multiple disasters. So the plug itself, like the
receptacle.
Is the receptacle like the
receptacle is the female side. The one that's attached to the wall is a receptacle.
Okay, but the plug is the male side.
Yes.
Okay, so the plug has melted into the receptacle. So I've replaced the receptacle and the plug. All you got to do with that is just cut the wires and then replace the plug. That's easy. You just
at the base of the plug.
Yeah, like usually you can pop it open and it's pretty easy. And then the receptacle is a piece of cake. All you got to do is do this exact same thing. They're just matching wires with wires. You just take a picture before and you take a picture after. Make sure it's all the same. And
positive, negative, and a ground. Yeah, it's not
exactly
super complex. It's just
make
the
sure
amount, the gauge. Make sure it's the right gauge of wire.
Yeah, and also make sure your plug or your receptacle is at the right orientation. Make sure it's upside right, instead upside down. That's something that I've come across as well. And then, it's not that it matters, it's just a little bit more convenient. I have also had the plug melt into my digital controller box.
Oh, shit. That would be worse.
Oh, and then that wire melted to the side of the kiln.
Oh, God.
So it was in my house.
I've had the wire sit up against it one time, but it just kind of lightly melted it. It didn't go all the way through. So,
yeah, so it was at my house. And so it was out on my front porch. And I had the kiln on rollers so I could move it out of the way. And I forgot to roll it, turn it so that the cord wouldn't touch the kiln. Turned on the kiln. It flipped the breaker. I was asleep. This is why you should always fire when you're awake.
Because the electric part of the ring touched the wire that it burned through.
Yeah, it like triggered something, and the electronic controller flipped it off. And then my roommate got home, and he was like, the power's off in the house. And I was like, just plug the kiln back in. And I was like, so tired. Oh, and he like turned it on, and then it did it again. And I went downstairs, and I looked at it the next day, and
oh, shit.
The wiring was completely melted. The plug was melted, fused to the receptacle. So the way that those controllers work, the Bartlett separate controllers work, is that it has a plug, so it plugs into the side of the receptacle. And so I replaced the plug and had to get a new wire, like whole new wire, and hook that into the kiln. That wasn't that hard, but I did have to do some like DIY shaving off of some things to get that done. So I replaced the whole wire from the kiln to the plug, then replaced the plug, and then I replaced the receptacle in the electronic controller box, which is a lot simpler than you would think, and just fixed that all up. So that was fun. That probably cost me about $50.
Wow. Yeah. We have a metal, I don't know what you call it, but it's basically like a half circle that you can anchor to the wall. It's used for like conduit, like piping and stuff that you would adhere to the wall. So we have one of those that goes over top of the wire. So it's like near the end of the male end of the plug, and then that goes in the wall. So the cord is pulled away from the kiln, so it's not touching it and it's not sagging, and there's not a lot of extra wire there. You don't want to get like a 12-foot wire if it's, a foot off the wall. You don't need a really long wire because it's more stuff that it can stick to.
Right.
To.
Sorry about that. Something opened on my phone that wasn't
You're good.
supposed to.
All right. Did we hit everything? We're at an hour and 44, so.
I feel like we did. That was a doozy.
That was a doozy.
It was kind of fun to just talk about kilns, honestly.
Yeah. I mean, the kilns, there's way more options, and I feel like there's way more variables than wheels.
Yeah.
When you're buying a used kiln versus a used wheel.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, and like they're huge. They're a huge purchase, you know.
Yeah.
Like
it's like buying a mattress, right?
Yeah, and it's hard because I feel like a lot of people expect a kiln to be less than $500, and in some way I do too. Like, you know, every kiln up until the digital controller kilns that I've had have been like $500, $600 and or less. And then getting up to when you have electronic controllers and when you have all these things added in and like good quality kilns, it's like, oh shit, you're gonna spend a lot of money. Like that's, even if it's used, you're gonna spend a lot of money. And that's kind of terrifying.
Yeah. And also the way the kilns work, I mean, typically the more you get into it, you're scaling up in kiln size. So the market is filled with smaller kilns that are really old, that are still like...
Yeah.
I feel like there's just some island somewhere that just has kiln
You'd be
parts,
surprised.
like,
I've been looking at small kilns around this area for somebody, and I can't find any tiny kilns.
Really? Any like 3 cubic foot kilns? Maybe they all got bought up when Corona hit.
Maybe. I think they probably did. Now, I've given away probably 1 billion of them. Like, whenever I got a 3 cubic foot kiln, and I was like, $50, take it. Like, I would just get a kiln for free, and I'd be like, here you go. Right back out the door.
I think I sold that Dunkin' one for $100.
Yeah.
With shelving and everything.
Everybody always asks me, do you want to kill them? I'm like, no.
No. A kiln graveyard. I got a kiln graveyard over here. I don't need any more kilns.
No new kilns. Yeah.
I thought you could use it. Or I thought you could find somebody that could use it. I'd be like, just put it on Facebook Marketplace, put $100 on it, and I'll give you consultation. Like, here, put this price on it.
Call me when they're there, and I can tell them why it's worth only $200.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want the physical space taken up in my life, because then it just becomes a tabletop and stuff gets piled on it.
Yeah, I feel like at one point my life was just a kiln graveyard, for sure. Like I had 8 kilns in the back of my room at one point. 8.
That's crazy. I'm telling you, there's like an island somewhere that just has a kiln landfill. Just imagine how many old kilns there are. Just like what do they do with these? Like, do they grind up the soft brick and repurpose it, or just throw it away?
No, it's just crazy.
Oh man. All right. Any other kiln stuff? It's definitely a big purchase. So.
Yeah. Good luck.
And I got a couple more questions that I'll add to our Josh podcast next time. So.
Oh yeah. For sure. I'm exhausted.
Alrighty.
That was tiring.
You look exhausted. I don't even see a bed back there. Did you get rid of your bed already?
No, it's there.
Oh, you turned it. Okay.
Yeah. I moved it to the middle of the room because I saw a video that said, I moved it to the middle of the room because I saw a video that was like, if your bed's in the corner, like if your bed is in the corner of your room, like you're like the lowest of all lows, like, and so I was like, well, whatever. But also, what
is that supposed to mean? Like you're in a dorm or something?
I guess, like you're like, I think it was about men, and like it was like bachelors or something. Like if you have blue sheets or dark sheets, like you're a fucking douchebag. I don't even know, but like, but it was like, if your bed is on the left side, like if it's on the wall but not in the corner, then that's one thing. But if it's in the corner, you're just like hopeless. And I was like, my bed's in the corner. I like sleeping in the corner.
2 ends of your bed are covered, and there's no headboard and no footboard. You're a piece of trash. Like
you're a trash.
Gosh.
I don't have a headboard. I don't even have a real bed. It's a fucking couch from IKEA. That's like. It's like a couch bed.
Is there a box spring or anything under that?
No, it's a real mattress, but it lifts up and there's storage under it.
Ooh. Okay. All right. Yeah. Enough visual talk. I think that's it.
That's it. We're kaputs.
Mic
148.
Drop. Kilns.
149. All right.
All right. Thanks everybody for listening, and we'll catch you next time.
Later.
Bye.
Hey guys, thank you so much for listening to our podcast. We really appreciate it, and we're having so much fun. If you want to follow us individually on Instagram, you totally can. Ryan's Instagram handle is @RDCeramics, and mine is 5 Lines Pottery. That's the number 5. We would love to hear from you, and don't forget to write us a review on our podcast. We read every single one of them, and we totally appreciate them. They help us out an awful lot, and they also put smiles on our faces. I hope you guys continue to listen, and we love you. Thanks. Bye.